Now we have to say goodbye to our responsive coffee website landing page that still can't make me love coffee no matter what. So far we are done with home, about and product sections in previous videos, but today we will do the rest of the sections and finish this beautiful coffee website once and for all. This is going to be our blog section with image, hover animations, icons, date, texts and blog title. And this is our review section with 3 reviews. I took the text for this responsive coffee website about coffee from ChatGPT because I know nothing about coffee. Finally, this is our contact section and footer with an image and contact form along with some information about our timings and address, etc. We will also finalize the whole website to ensure it's responsive on all screen sizes as well as looks beautiful at the end of this video with all the animations, buttons and layout working as it should. Let's go start our blog section from scratch and bring it to life with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So this is our full screen navigation menu that we have already created in the previous video using GSAP, which is how we get to see our blog section that we will create right now. Yes, I am sneakily showing off blog section as well as our full screen navigation menu. Let's break down the HTML structure for our blog section. We start with a section with the ID blog, which wraps everything. Inside there's a heading that says our coffee blogs. Then we have multiple blog cards, each inside a div with the class card BG. Every card has 3 main parts: a thumbnail with an image, a right side with the blog title, author info, a separator line, and a short paragraph, and finally, a bottom section showing the date and some action icons like view, like, share, and mail. Outside of that, each card also has a floating arrow icon at the bottom corner for extra interaction. And that's the full structure, clean, simple, and ready for styling. Since I don't get much feedback yet, I explain the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript at the start for those who like detailed breakdowns, and stay silent after for those who prefer no voiceover. So please share your feedback so I know what to do and what not to do, and if you like these websites and layouts, and UI/UX designs, then subscribe to my channel, it's free anyways. Seems like we are done with HTML, and for the CSS, I just use Flexbox to lay everything out. The whole blog section wraps nicely on smaller screens and centers the cards so it looks clean. Each card is flexed too, so the image and the text sit next to each other with some space in between. We gave the cards a nice background color, a soft shadow, and made the width responsive with clamps so it adjusts on any screen size. The thumbnail holds the image, keeps it centered, and gives it a little shadow to make it pop. The right side has all the text stuff. We just limited the width so it doesn't stretch too much, and cleaned up the heading and spacing. The author part is like a small badge with a profile pic and name, pretty simple. we added a separator line below it to break things up visually. At the bottom, we've got the date and a few action icons like views, likes, and shares. We made the icons bigger, spaced them out, and added a hover effect so they feel a little more alive when you move your mouse over them. And lastly, there's a small round button floating at the bottom corner of the card. It's just a fun little detail with a border, a hover effect, and a tiny shadow to finish the look. Let's see the outcome of this blog section after both HTML and CSS. Although I may have made a mistake in heading text along with section having min height that sometimes create too much space between sections, and white space is never good for websites. For media queries, we made a few tweaks to keep everything responsive. Above 768 pixels, we added some padding inside the bottom section so the icons and date have a little more breathing room. Above 1100 pixels, we shifted the thumbnail a little to the left to balance the layout better on big screens. We should have a H2 font size, not H1, and for some reason we have date that is way too small when we already fixed the font size. It's because we mistakenly wrote font style rather than font size. The whole blog section looks responsive and good enough, so let's head on to the review section. This layout uses Flexbox to create a responsive, clean, and centered design for the review section. Each review card features a hover effect with an expanding circle background and smooth transitions for text and images, offering an interactive user experience. For the HTML, we started by creating a section with a class of review section and an ID of review. This helps us structure the page and makes it easy to target this part later with CSS. Inside, we added a big title using a div and a smaller heading below it with an H2 to introduce the section. Then, we created a container called Review Container, which will hold all of the individual reviews. Each review is wrapped inside a review card div, and all cards follow the same structure to keep it consistent. At the top of each card, we added a quote icon for a little visual flair. After that, there's a heading for the review title, a paragraph describing the customer's feedback, and a circular profile image showing the person who wrote the review. Under the image, we added the customer's name in an H5 tag, and their role or title in an H6. By keeping the structure simple and repeating the same format across all cards, it stays clean, easy to style, and super responsive for different screen sizes. For the CSS, we kept it clean and centered the review section, added padding, and used Flexbox for the layout. The H2 gets a pop of color with the primary color. Each review card has a background, rounded corners, a box shadow, and smooth hover effects. We used the before circle behind each card for a subtle design touch that expands on hover. The quote icon is tucked in the top corner, and the text and image stay clean and white until hover, where they flip to match the body color. The image is a neat circle with a border that changes on hover too, keeping everything feeling alive. Fun fact, we don't require any media queries for this review section. Let's see the outcome of this review section. Hopefully nothing requires our attention and everything is fine and peaceful. Talk too soon, I guess. I think we made a mistake in before pseudo class. That's better. Now let's see if everything else is doing great or not. The layout consists of a full-screen background image with a centered contact info section at the top, displaying phone, address, email, and hours. Below, a contact form is centered with a dynamic, animated image on the right, all within a blurred and modern design. In HTML, the contact section consists of two main parts: the contact details at the top and the contact form at the bottom. The contact details are organized in contact const divs, each containing an icon, a heading, phone, address, email, hours, and the corresponding information. This section is designed for quick access to essential contact info. Below, the contact form includes fields for first name, last name, email, phone, and a message. It is styled with a chocolatey effect and has a unique animated button for submission. Beside the form, there's an image that adds a dynamic visual element. Initially, there was supposed to not have an image in this section, but it looked funny, so I kept it. This is the overlay class we used in Home section as well because of image behind everything in these sections. In CSS, the section uses a full-screen background image for visual impact. The contact top section is laid out with flexbox, ensuring that contact details are evenly spaced and centered. Each contact const div has an icon and corresponding text, all aligned vertically. The contact form has chocolatey look with a backdrop filter for this unique effect, and the form inputs and text area are designed for smooth interaction. The form has a button with an animated border effect. The contact image beside the form has a jumping animation to add interactivity. Now we will use the same jump animation as that of the About section, making element constantly jump with transform translate. Now let's see how the contact section looks so far, and if we need to change anything or not. Love how it stays pretty and responsive without media queries. That wraps up all the sections for this coffee website. Let's go straight to writing HTML for this footer. In HTML structure of our footer, everything is wrapped inside a footer tag. At the top, there's a newsletter div with a mail icon, an email input field, and a submit button wrapped inside a button wrapper for styling. Below that, we have a row div containing 4 call sections. The first column has the logo and a short brand description. The second column shows office information like the address, email, and phone number. The third column has useful links to different parts of the site. And the fourth column lists our social media platforms. After the columns, there's a horizontal line, and finally, a copyright paragraph at the bottom. That's the full HTML layout for the footer, simple, organized, and ready for styling. Now for the CSS. The footer spans the full width, has padding, and uses Flexbox to arrange the columns side by side. The newsletter box is styled with a colored background, rounded corners, and a flex layout to nicely position the input and button. Each column call is padded, the headings have animated underlines, and the inputs are styled transparent with dashed bottom borders for a clean look. The horizontal rule HR separates the columns from the copyright line with a thin white line. Lastly, social links and NAV links are kept inside UL lists for simple vertical stacking. Let's see what we have made so far in the footer, and then we will use media queries to make it responsive. Wait. Why do we have space between footer and contact section? In conclusion, we can get rid of this space by adding padding for horizontal and vertical separately, and make margin bottom 0 in contact section. Now for the media queries. On small screens, the columns stack vertically instead of side by side. On larger screens, the newsletter floats slightly higher, and some extra decorative curves are added to the footer corners to make the design more dynamic. And that's the full explanation of the footer. This footer looks as lovely as you guys who keep supporting me by watching my videos and subscribing to my channel. Since we changed things a little bit from the initial website, here is the finalized outcome of this entire responsive coffee website landing page created with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and GSAP. Enjoy the design and grab the full website code from the link in the description. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep watching to support me. I'll stop talking now. If you have been dealing with my dead humor for 29 minutes straight, then